What's up, y'all? Lawrence Milana Grind, and in this video, I wanted to talk about why nutrition is so important to me, and hopefully why you should make nutrition important for you as well. I'm not going to get into details about actually specifics of nutrition. What I eat, what I think is good for you, all that kind of stuff. All that I think you can find that elsewhere, and also I probably will make other videos about that as well, since that's what I coach about. But for this is just kind of giving you some background on how nutrition or focusing on nutrition has changed me. And one of the kind of the few benefits that I've seen that may or may not always be talked about. So the first one, or before I get into it, I want to kind of give a quick backstory of kind of how I got into focusing on nutrition. So for me, growing up, I've always been pretty active. So I'm 6'4", so decently tall. Body kind of fat kind of spreads out. So I've never been overly obese or anything like that. But as I got older and graduated college, still kind of worked out, but I was young, so I had a lot of bad habits like drinking and binge eating and all that I've made videos about, and never really focused on my nutrition. But I started doing CrossFit not too long out of college. Love CrossFit, still do love CrossFit today. Don't do much right now because I did tear my patellar tendon last year, so still kind of rehabbing that. But overall, I never really focused much on just like eating more good foods. It was more so relying on my body, which at the time was much younger, and being able to just kind of get over it. So even with staying up late and drinking when I was 20, 22, 24, you just wake up the next day slightly hungover and you just power through. Whereas now at the age of 34, about to turn 35, that would never work. So because of that, because I always had kind of an athletic-ish body and stayed in shape and was always decently active, I never had to focus on nutrition. But it wasn't until my early 30s when things started to really slow down, and I was still applying those same principles to trying to stay in shape, and it just started to just not work over time. I was going to the gym, started going to the gym kind of more kind of high intensity because I thought I know how to sweat more, and it wasn't working, and just other things that just didn't do much. But all at the same time, I thought that just eating good, 5 days out the week, but then not caring what you eat on weekends is okay because hey, you gotta live a little bit, right? Like live a little bit. Hey, it's just one meal, yada yada yada. I lived by that for so long, and it just did not serve my serve my life, especially as I got older and things just started to decline. So, in terms of kind of the big things I want to talk about here, overall, I see nutrition as the tide that lifts all ships. So that saying, a rising tide lifts all ships. To me, that rising tide is nutrition, and the ships are your life. So all the different aspects of your life, when your nutrition improves and you start eating healthier, that is the tide that lifts all those ships. I think that's a kind of a good way to think about it, right? So the biggest one for me, this because one of my goals in life is to have a nice body, have a good physique, is that you can't outwork a bad diet. Probably heard this term before, heard that phrase before, but it is true. Especially as you get older. When you're younger, you can probably outwork a bad diet depending on your genetics and activity level and what you do. But as you get older, and again, I'm only 34, about to be 35, I can only imagine what it's like to be 45, 55, 65. If you're not focusing on nutrition and you're still trying to kind of stay in shape, stay active, you are not going to be able to survive. You're just going to decline, and then soon it's going to be a point where you're just not able to work out, whatever it is, because you've gained too much weight. You feel like crap. And so truly, you cannot outwork a bad diet. And once I focused on nutrition and actually dialed it in, and again, I'm not going to go over the details of that and how to do it, that'll be another video. But once I dialed in my nutrition, progress was made almost like instantly. And again, progress is not linear, but if you can really dial it in like I did for a short amount of time when I did 75 hard, it almost is like linear progress because of the fact that it's so dialed in that there's nothing in your body going, that's bad food, no added sugars, nothing processed, not even a potato chip is getting chewed on and swallowed, nothing. And you're still kind of working out a little bit, but just being active, you just will see consistent progress over time. Now, again, not going to get into the details on workout plans and all that, but that's the biggest thing for me is that it really helped me progress and get the six pack I always wanted, to get the muscles I always wanted. And now I still want to get bigger and all that. And so that's my journey right now once I heal my knee. But you cannot outwork a bad diet. But now the other two that I want to talk about, or this one is pretty common, but the last one's a little different, is having more energy. When you have more energy in your day, you can just do more with your day. And when it comes down to life, you want to experience more life. You want to be able to do more things in your life. And so if you look at the average person, the average, to use America for example, that's on the standard American diet, the SAD diet, or SAD, you basically just have little bouts of time where you have energy, and the rest is like, oh, I'm just tired. Oh man, I'm overworked. Oh my god, it's just I gotta just relax for a second. That's a lot of it just comes down to nutrition. You're not working that hard. The average person does not work that hard to the point where they need to sit on the couch for an hour after they get home from work. You're sitting at a desk all day. The reason why you're tired is because you probably don't like your job and you're probably eating like crap. But if you change those two things, mainly nutrition at least to begin with, that's in your power. That's you can control 100% of your nutrition. Those things will change. You'll have more energy throughout the day. You'll be able to do more with your day. And for me, I want to live a fulfilling life. I want to be able to do things. I want to be able to hike. I want to be able to play with my dog, play with my family, my future kids, all these things that require having energy, being able to show up and have energy. Nutrition is the way to get there, right? So once I started to dial in my nutrition, my energy just like hopped to a whole new level. And again, I still sleep, 5 to 8 hours a night. I still need sleep. It's not like I went from needing 8 hours to 2 hours of sleep. It's not nothing like that drastic and crazy. But noticing your energy levels when you wake up, you're just a little more like, all right, still a little bit tired, but you're able to get up quicker. And then you're able to just not take naps, throughout the day, not feel sluggish throughout the day. And again, not saying that never happens because depending on your day, what you do, yes, it can happen if you don't get enough sleep. You will be tired no matter what. But over time, or generally speaking, on average, you're not taking naps throughout the day. You're not coming home and be like, I just need to relax. You're just coming home and like, I feel good. What's going on, family? And doing things, right? Having more time to work on the side hustle, have more time to spend with your kids, whatever it is, you just have more energy to do it by focusing on your nutrition. So the last one, and this is the kind of the one that I think a lot of people don't talk about and that I literally went through. So it's a really big one for me that I talk about or tell people about that, when I'm giving my coaching and that kind of thing is like, it's called general anxiety, I believe. And I'm not a psychologist and like that, but I did look it up and that seemed to be the kind of the medical term for it is just general anxiety, not depression, not particular anxiety about something or whatever it is, but just the kind of general, like more negative thoughts and more just kind of worrisome thoughts about things. We all have them. Again, life is hard. Being a human in this world is very, very hard. There's so much crap going on in the world to be negative about. But I noticed a significant shift in my general anxiety, my general just kind of like just looking at things kind of the glass half full or glass half empty. I just noticed that I stopped looking at it like that. I stopped being a lot more optimistic and just weren't kind of noticing those things, noticing those thoughts come to my head that were more negative. They just kind of went away. And at the time of my life, nothing had really changed in my life. It's not like I all of a sudden moved to some area or, got like nothing in my life changed. I didn't make $1 million all of a sudden. It's like, oh my God, I have nothing to worry about. Pretty much had all the same worries in my life and started to see that I was just more happy and more optimistic and those kind of general anxieties that we all have just stopped coming in my head. And the big thing why I know this is true for me, again, speaking my truth, why I know it's true for me is that once I started eating some or kind of incorporating some of the, processed foods in my life, back after doing 75 hard and being very, very clean and seeing all this, I actually noticed a shift in my brain, like becoming, and I think it's weird to say, but becoming a little more negative, becoming a little more just like, I just felt like it's like a kind of a dark cloud kind of coming over when I'd have bad food. And now again, if you're having bad food because you're spending your whole week eating great food and you want to have that cheat meal, yeah, most likely it's going to be a very happy time. But if it's just, going from not having anything and all of a sudden having a bad meal just for whatever it is, you're not going to have that other high of like, oh man, I've been waiting for this for so long. So you're going to you might maybe notice some things that change that I notice in my brain. And the particular one is actually having Diet Coke, which I love Diet Coke, drank it a ton as a kid. My dad and I used to just crush Diet Coke when we'd be down in the basement just watching TV. I noticed after having a Diet Coke for so long, or after having it in so long, that like I had it and I just had that and noticed a little shift in the kind of the way I was thinking about things. And it was a really, really weird at the time, but then noticed it again when I had it again, a few days later. And then I started noticing it when I'd be clean, very, very clean, and then have that. So not saying don't give up Diet Coke. I still drink Diet Coke today. I'm not on 75 hard. I'm not ever having any processed food ever like that. So I'm on a much more sustainable path, but I do like going through those certain times where you do push yourself. So that was a big one, just lowering the kind of general anxiety that you feel. And I'm pretty sure scientifically it's been proven, but there's a lot of literature out there talking about kind of the two different brains. You know, your basically your brain, and then also your gut's kind of your second brain. So if you haven't heard of that, look up second brain. It's fascinating stuff. But then also, I guess, like 80 or 90% of serotonin and some large amount of dopamine created in the gut. So it's like it all happens in the gut, right? And what you feed the gut is going to create kind of the way you feel, right? And all these different chemicals that we like to have, the serotonins and the dopamines and all that. If it's mostly created in the gut, don't you think that feeding yourself the right foods would be beneficial, and the wrong foods would probably not be as beneficial? I think so. And again, I lived it. That's what happened to me. So those are the big things that of the reasons why nutrition is very important to me. I hope my goal with my program and just in life in general is to help people get better and help other people. And for me, nutrition has been the single biggest factor that I changed that has gotten me to where I am today, and something that I still focus on that I know is like that foundation that I can never give up. Now again, I go through different periods where I have one cheat meal a week or something like that versus maybe two, depending on my goals that period. So it's not like I am always just never eating bad foods or whatever it is. There's different times, but now that I've built the foundation of knowing what my body needs to get certain outcomes and just feel good generally and have good energy and all that and look a certain way, it has been a game changer for my life. Working out, of course, lifting weights, beneficial, very, very beneficial. Hope everyone does that as well. Moving your body more in general, very beneficial. And there's so many other things I can talk about that are in a different video. But to me, nutrition is the foundation. Nutrition is literally, if you don't have your nutrition in order, your life is not going to be as good, So hope that gives you some insight into my life and why I love nutrition. Hopefully it helps you guys as well. And another video coming soon.